Okay, so today's topic is Ayurvedic guidance to support the immunity, and we are going to talk about what is immunity itself, why it is important, and what we could do to enhance the immunity according to Ayurveda. Okay, as usually, I start with the same first slide about what is Ayurveda because sometimes there are new people coming, and yeah, I already see someone who's attending my classes the first time, so I'm not sure if you knew what is Ayurveda. So there is just a short introduction. So Ayurveda is a holistic healing system. It came from India 5 or so thousand BC. Then also what we could tell about Ayurveda, that it's not only the healing system, but also it explains the prevention. It explains how to stay healthy and happy. And there are a lot of chapters in our main root Ayurvedic texts that explains about diet, about lifestyle, and its importance in our health. And in our life. Okay, so it's focused on prevention and healing the diseases. Then it's structured science, as I told you last time who attended my classes, right? So it has 8 chapters. That's why we call it Ashtanga Ayurveda. It includes surgery, it includes the women health, the child health, it includes the rasayana or longevity. So as you see, there is a lot of subject we could focus on. Then Ayurveda aids in boosting immunity, which one is very important right now, right, with this current situations. So yeah, I hope this one is clear. Most of the people not the first time joining my classes, so I hope this one is good. But if you have any questions, especially who is joining the first time, please let me know, okay? Ayurveda uses only natural healing substances like herbs, sometimes even metal, but we don't use it in the US because it's prohibited. But generally, Ayurveda do this. Then different preparation from meat, from like animal fats, then animal milk, and etc. Okay. So let's move forward. And today I want to focus on an immunity. And before we start to talk about immunity, I want to talk about what is surrounding us, right? There are a lot of microorganisms inside and outside of our body. If we touch on something, right, we could um, get in contact with these microorganisms. And we also knew that there are some microorganisms located inside of our body, and they are actually beneficial for us. Without them, we would not be able to process the food, and even some metabolic processes would not be possible at all. So they are important, right? But sometimes it's not like everything is good around us, right? It's not like the world is black and white. It's gray, but we need to protect ourselves. It's right, but could we just isolate ourselves from everything? No, right? There is no possibility to do this. And even so, when we get in contact with the microorganism, our body will raise some responses. And next time we contact it, our body will know what it is and how to deal with it, right? So we inhale the air every second, right? So we need to take, we would not be able to just lock in our room and put AC with a filter to make sure everything is clear completely, right? So we need to just accept it is as it is, right? So there is a harmful bacteria, there is a beneficial bacteria or microorganism inside and outside us. And if we would try to kill the harmful one, in the process, we will kill the beneficial as well. The same way works antibiotics. They are very good in, they're working on a harmful bacteria, but in the process, they are just killing our own beneficial bacteria, especially in the gut. Since we use it so often, especially when we get sick, right? Our gut bacteria gets depleted, and then we start to put probiotics to enhance it. Then again we put antibiotics and kill them, and then it's like a process. And there is some simple solution how to stay with this, how to live with this. So yeah, improve the resistance of our body is more important than just stay locked in, right? Because we could not separate, as I already told you, we could not separate ourselves from the whole world. Even if you locked in the room, there are still a lot of bacteria around me right now, right? So I'm breathing in, I'm touching the table, I'm talking to you and touching the phone or something, right? So they are all surrounded by some kind of microorganism. Okay, so we need to learn how to live in a harmony with the world and with the mother nature. We need to learn how to live together in a peace rather than in a war. I hope it does make sense. If there are any questions, you could just stop me anytime and ask me. I hope you are able to see me and hear me and see the slides. Okay, so Ayurveda pretty clear about what is a healthy person and what are the signs of healthy person. Why it is important for today's topic? Because the healthy person stays strong, and even the harmful bacteria, when come in contact with a healthy person, according to Ayurveda, there would not be any harm from it. Okay, our body just strong enough to um, to resist this kind of situation. Okay, so what is the definition of the healthy person? So according to Ayurveda, the definition of healthy person is Samadoshaha, Sama Agnishcha, Samadhatu Malakriya, Prasanna Atma, Ate Indriyatam. So what does it say? The first one is about the doshas or functional energies which are inside and outside of our body. There are three main energies, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We are not going to focus much on this. I just give you some explanation, the simple and brief explanation. Okay, so the Vata is an energy of the movement. It's responsible of all processes like movements in our body. To me, to move my hand, I'm using this kind of energy to blink, to swallow, to even for urination and for every bowel movement. For every movement, we need this kind of energy to support the movement. The other energy called Pitta, and it's responsible for all transformation in our body. Okay. So the Pitta is responsible for all transformation in our body. What does it mean? The digestion is transformation, right? So we eat an apple and it transforms in our body tissues, in our skin, in our blood, etc. Okay, and there is a Kapha energy, or we call it glue energy, which holds everything together. So without Kapha, there would not be even the body. So it gives strength. It gives stability. Okay, so this would be a kapha energy. It gives lubrication as well. So to move our joints, we need it to be lubricated, right? So this would be a kapha energy. So if all of these energies are balanced, then then it is a first step to stay healthy, just a first. So it's not everything, but it's a first. Then comes some Agnishta, the digestion. We talked about it last time, but someone didn't attend last class. So let me just briefly go back and explain what is Agni. Agni is our digestion. It located. There are different type of transformation in our bodies, right? Not only located in a gut. Some of them located in our liver, etc. Even in our thyroid, in our brain. So there are a lot of transformation happening. So this we'll call Agni in Ayurveda, and it would be responsible for all digestion and all metabolic processes in our body. Okay, so if we have a healthy Agni, healthy digestion and metabolism, then it's a second step to stay away from the diseases. Then there are the tissues. I'm going to explain it a little bit later. Okay, so just let it go for now. And the last one is a manas or mind. I didn't put the senses here. Yeah, so there are also the senses. We have sense of smell, of taste. So this one is also important because otherwise we will not get a clear perception without the senses. So the mind is also important, and I'm going to talk a lot about it because as I told you last time, there are mainly two ways of the diseases. The first one comes from the wrong diet and lifestyle. It calls physical reason, and the second one it calls mental reason. For example, we are stressed, we are worried too much, we are depressed, there are some kind of situation we're not able to handle. So these all could come through the mind but then affect our body. Do you know any condition which could start from the mind and then affect our body? Could you please chat with me? Any condition that anxiety, yes, anxiety could start from the body and from the mind, I'm sorry, and then affect our body. And actually, the different kind of situation can occur. It could be anxiety first, and then it could be located in a gut, like irritable bowel syndrome, or it could start with anxiety and then affect our joints as a rheumatoid arthritis. So there are actually, like you name it, right? So there would be a lot of different situations that could start from the mind: anxiety, irritability, anger, depression, sorrow. So all of this stuff going to work on our mind, then going to work on our body and bring the illness inside of us. Okay, I hope there is no questions. If there is a question, please ask me. Okay. We already talked about what is healthy person, right? The next I want to discuss is what is the immunity, or we call it Ojas in Ayurveda. So, according to Ayurveda, immunity is an ability to resist any disease coming from inside or outside. Any disease that come from inside or outside. Do you know any disease? I know, diseases from outside is simple. It's like flu or cold. So there are a lot of diseases coming from outside. Even eating wrong food combination and ending up with bone issues, for example, right? This would be disease coming from outside. But what kind of disease could come from inside? Do you know any? I'm sure you know. Which disease could come from inside of the body? Anemia, but there would be a reason for anemia, and it's probably there would be maybe even two reasons from inside and from outside as well. But there are specific diseases which call out, yes, cancer. It is cancer. the cancer and autoimmune diseases, all autoimmune conditions, they will come from inside of the body. So our body starting to attack or to affect our own system. The same example as the Hashimoto or psoriasis. So we have a lot of different situations, right, which are affecting our body from inside, not from outside. Okay. So according to Ayurveda, there are different type of ojas. There are actually two. The first one, para ojas, we born with it, and we biting from it every day, every breath. Okay, so we born with it. We have some quantity of it, and each day is breath we are taken from it. Sometimes the kids are born with a low immunity, with a low para ojas, so they starting to suffer even from young age. There are still possibilities to rise it, but we could not, rise it the same way we could do with para ojas. So still we could slowly, step by step, increase it, but it would be a long process, and we could have a long fight and a pretty intense fight for these kind of situations. So yeah, this is a para ojas, and there is another one we call apara ojas, which comes from inside. With each breath, with each food intake, we nourish it. This is beautiful, right? So we could support our immunity just by what we are taking inside. And we are going to talk a little bit later, what are we going to take inside. So what are the ways to rise up the ojas? As I already told you, it would be pretty difficult to rise the first one, para ojas, but there are ways. Since the second one we support with our food and our lifestyle, we should know how this process happens, right? And now I'm going to explain you what are those tissues I told last time. So according to Ayurveda, there are 7 tissues. There are 7 tissues in our bodies. Rasa or plasma, rakta or blood, mamsa or muscle tissues, then meda or fat tissue, then asthi or bone tissues, maja or bone marrow, and then shukla or reproductive tissue. Okay, what's happening? Once we put food inside, the process of digestion starts. Then Ayurveda says that according to the transformational law, the food would be transformed into our tissues. So firstly, we will feed our plasma, our rasa dhatu. Next one, once rasa is satisfied, plasma tissue is satisfied, then it go to the blood tissue. We nourish the blood tissue. But not the whole rasa, not the whole plasma go to the blood tissue, just a part, right? Then from this part would be blood tissue transformed. Then we take part of this one and we put it next into muscle tissue. Then again, we bite from it, we put it next into the fat tissue, and so on until our reproductive tissue. So our reproductive tissue gets just a small amount of our food. And for the plasma, it takes 1 day to be transformed from the food. But for next tissue, for the blood tissue, it will be 5 + 1, then 5 + 6, and so on. So this would be the reproductive tissue gets just a little bit of this the food essence, as we call it in Ayurveda, and then again the small part of the reproductive tissue goes to feed our ojas, to nourish our immune system. So we're starting from here, and we had some kind of food. Some food went to waste. Some food was transformed to the plasma. Then again, something get to Rakta and so on, right? And very small, very subtle part will go to support our immunity, our apara ojas. I hope this makes sense for you. Is there any questions here? I love questions, and nobody asking questions me last time. Okay, good. I hope everything clear, so I'm going to move forward. So just one more. See, if we have all of this kind of stuff, what we need to, which system or which energy need to be strong so we could convert all of this stuff into our ojas? Which system? Yes, Agni. So it would be digestive system. It would be Agni. Yes, right. So we need to have a strong Agni or strong digestive system. So this stuff will happen. So it starts with the Jatar Agni or our main Agni, which located. Okay, I will do Nevin. It starts with the Jatar Agni or main Agni, which located in our gut. Stomach, intestine, and colon. Then there are other type of Agni which are responsible for the transformation of these tissues. So all of the Agnis need to be strong, need to be satisfied, and need to be well fed for our body to survive and to support all the 7 tissue and to feed our ojas as well. So yes, so all of this need to be strong. I already told you. Yeah, so there is a question about the para ojas so apara you get, right? So apara ojas we feed every time when we are eating something or even breathing. But the para ojas, once we born, there would be some kind of para ojas in our body. And once we are getting old, there would be very little bit of it. And once it gone, there would be death. Okay. I hope I could. When I do Zoom, for some reason I cannot go to the previous slide. But yeah, I could explain once more. So yeah, and with each breath, we just biting from it. We're not giving it, we're not nourishing it, we're just biting from it. But there is some kind of situation that we could nourish our para ojas. Once all tissues would be healthy, and ojas would be satisfied, we could support our para ojas. Okay, but only in situation when there is a strong and healthy body. Okay, only in the healthy body. I hope it's clear. Nevin, did I answer? I hope so. Example of reproductive tissue are our semen and our ovaries. So all of this are our reproductive tissue. Okay, good. I hope this one does make sense and this is clear. I give you some example, very simple example. Do you know what happening and why while we are gaining weight? So if we are gaining weight, this stuff, the fat tissue would be affected. So it increase in size, right? What does it mean? It means so this arrow between the muscle tissue and between the fat tissue. So there is an agni between them. There is a transformation process going on. And for some reason, there would be a weakness here. Okay, so I muted someone. Sorry about this. Okay, so if there are some kind of problems in our subtle metabolic processes, then we start to accumulate this matter. And what will happen to the next to the following tissues? So the bone tissue would be affected, and what happened to it? Would it increase or would it decrease? What do you think? Since this fat tissue getting a lot of nutrients, what happened to this guy? To the bone tissue or to the bone marrow tissue or to the reproductive tissue? So decrease. It will decrease. Yes, right. What is the reason for it to be decreased? So once the fat gets accumulated, would be the quality will increase, the quantity will increase, but the quality will decrease. And we are biting from this one, and this one like big, but we are not able to do anything with this. So that's why when there is the obesity, it usually okay, I will answer later. So if there is the obesity, for a long time, we usually have the knee problems, right? The pain in knees, depletion in the knees. Then we have again the bone marrow. There is a cracking or difficulty in walking. Then we have low libido, right? The low libido is a very common symptoms and very common problem for the obese people. Okay, so it's like this. Why there is the fat accumulation? So the fat accumulation happening because our subtle digestion is not happening properly. So we need to have a strong digestion to process it properly, to turn the meat we are taking, right, to transform it further to our other tissues. Okay. I know it's a little bit overwhelming, especially for the people who just start to understand what is Ayurveda, but this is a main principle of Ayurveda, what we do. Yeah, okay, so let's move forward. I hope it's not wrong to exercise to burn fat. When you exercise, what happens to your body? You increase your agni, you increase your digestion and metabolic functions. So it is very good practice to do exercises to burn fat. It is a very good practice to do a pranayama because the oxidation happening and it helps to burn down the fat. And it helps not only to burn the current fat, it helps to avoid accumulating more fats, okay? Let's move forward. Okay, so last time I didn't touch this one, the amma, and now I'm going to touch it a little bit. So what happening to our food when it gets digested, but the digestion is low.
On your screen.
Here, okay, let's mute it.
No, it's not. Hit it mute again.
Okay, I muted you. Okay, so there is a substances which would be produced because of the weak digestion. So there is something, it's not ready to be forwarded and to be used as our body to feed our body tissues, but it needs to be stored somewhere, right? So it's not a feces, it's not a urine, but it's something. So we process it, our food, but the agni was weak and we weren't able to process it completely. So there is some kind of stuff will stuck here, right? So first it could start accumulating in our colon. Then it could start travel and wander through the whole body, and some kind of substances could be accumulated in our blood vessels, right? We all knew the cholesterol, right? So this would be ama according to Ayurveda. So all of this kind of accumulation or unprocessed substances we will call ama. Okay, and according to Ayurveda, our ojas, our immunity, is completely opposite to what we called ama, because ojas is a source of life, right? We already learned about it. It's there to support our life. Once ojas is gone, there is no more life. We could sustain on para ojas if a para ojas is gone, but once all ojas is gone completely, there would not be life. Then what is ama? Ama is a source of decay, right? It starts to accumulate in our body, and it's not completely produced. It's some kind of like a food waste, right? So you put something in your compost and you didn't throw it out yet. So what happening? There would be a bad smell, there would be a stickiness, right? There are all signs of ama: the bad smell of the stool, the stickiness of the stool, the heaviness in the body, the numbness, the stiffness in the joints. So all the signs of ama. So this is the source of decay in our body. Then ojas sustains organic integrity. So it helps to keep our body healthy. It helps to nourish everything. It helps to be strong and avoid any diseases, right? And it could be fed only by the healthy substances, right? So as we saw on the transformation of the food, so the only small particle will feed ojas, and only the healthy one. Otherwise, we will not feed our ojas. And ama, it built up of foreign matter. So we took something inside, but it wasn't transformed to our body tissues, right? So what is this? It's a foreign matter. Okay. Then ojas prevents the buildup of ama, and ama accumulated by low ojas. So they are all connected to each other. I would put agni in between them. So when the agni is strong, there would not be ama accumulation, and would be a strong ojas. Okay, is it clear? Does it make sense for you? I hope so. Everyone is just staying quiet. Okay. So does high acid in stomach sign of ama? Okay. So no, a high acidity in stomach, not a sign of ama. The ama, as I told you, the ama is a heavy, sticky, slimy, cold. So the cold is against fire. So it would not be this case. And in high acidity, there is no excessive accumulation, but it means something is not good with the digestion, right? Something is not happening in the right way, but it's not in ama. And we need another symptoms to consider if there are there. It could be, it could be high acidity, but there could be another symptoms like sticky and sinking in stool, then heaviness after food, the numbness or stiffness in the joints. No more. Okay, so the acid and ama is not connected because acid is only on the stomach and ama could be developed anywhere. So we need to have a healthy and balanced digestion to avoid the ama. Good. So this is a very good question. Are you supporting ojas and health, or are you supporting ama or the disease? Each day you eating something, you breathing, you getting stressed, you are depleting your body, or you are helping your body to nourish properly. I'm not talking about overnourishment, about obesity or other stuff. I'm talking about the healthy nourishment and healthy looked body, bright skin and bright eyes, soft on touch skin, um, beautiful hairs, etc. Okay, so what we are supporting and what to do with this stuff, as we already know, we are do it with our food each day, even with our breath, right? If we hold in the breath, we are stressed, we are anxious, we and we are holding our breath, right? If we are angry, we start to breathe more forcefully. But to feed our brain, to oxidize our body, we need a slow breathing. Okay, so it's a good question. It's a question for you. Don't need to answer it for yourself. Okay. Ayurveda says that there are 4 inputs in our life: of food, water, breath, and perception. There is nothing more, right? We are intaking food, we intaking water, we intaking breath, and we intaking what's around us, right? Everything we are taking inside and digest with our mind or with our digestion, right? With our agni. Okay, so the first one, the food is very important, and we really discussed it last time. I will tell you that we need to support our digestion first. We need to focus on supporting our agni, eating, especially during the heavy season like this one. We call it kapha season. As you remember, kapha is a glue energy, right? It's a cold, it's a heavy. It's somehow similar to ama, but it's not ama itself. It's not sticky, it's not smelly, and it's not slimy. Okay, so with the food, we need to support our agni first, and make sure you feel hungry to eat 3 meals a day. Okay, this is the first signs of the healthy digestion. When I feel hungry to eat 3 meals a day. Okay, this is the first one. And then water we are drinking every day, and it's important to drink not only some coffee and tea, but drink water as well. Why is that? Because our body consists of the cells, and our cells are required to create new cells, and they required water, right? The breath, I already told you a few times, it's our oxidization. We need the oxygen to support different processes in our body, but not only this, right? We need to support our mind. When we suppressing our breath, holding or using a forceful breathing, we getting affected by emotions, and we are getting less stable. That's why it's important when you're stressed, just take a deep breath, few deep breaths, okay? And the perception, life is beautiful, but who is going to tell you this? You have a food, you have a roof above your head, right? Who's going to tell you this? Your mind is going to tell you that you need something more, you need something else. Or your mind is going to tell you, I don't want this, I don't want this health problem, I don't want this pimple, I don't want this gray hair or anything else. Your mind not going to tell you how satisfied you should be with your life, how grateful you should be. And with our perception, with our sense organs, we need to perceive very clear information. Otherwise, it would be processed by our ego, and our ego will say, okay, someone has a better house, someone has better children, or I don't have enough tasty food, I want this food to be more tasty. Okay, so life is beautiful, and we need to be grateful for what we have every day, for that we are able to wake up every day and start this day. Okay, so yeah, this again about the stress. I already talked about this, but what we could do, how it's very simple. Say to you, okay, just avoid stress, right? avoid stress and nourish your ojas, and you would be your immunity would be strong and everything like this, right? But it's pretty difficult to stay away of the stress, because stress is all around us, right? It's all around us, and we're not able to do anything with it, but we are able to perceive it differently, right? So what we could do, what Ayurveda could give you, Ayurveda and yoga actually together. So the first is Abhyanga. Abhyanga means oil massage, oil application. According to Ayurveda, oil application is the first that improves your immunity, and not only apara but para ojas as well. So it makes you strong, and because Ayurveda working on the improving ojas, we have a different science. We call it rasayana, or longevity, which explains how to improve ojas so you could live a healthy and more prolonged life. Okay. So Abhyanga is one point of this one. Oleation of the body is very important. But before you do Abhyanga, you need to make sure there is no ama in your body. And there is some kind of contraindication for the Abhyanga. For example, the fatty liver is not a good condition to do an Abhyanga. But in general cases, you could do Abhyanga. If your acne is strong, if you want to nourish your body, Abhyanga is very beneficial. Sesame oil, coconut oil could be used for the Abhyanga. We have a lot of specific medicated Ayurvedic oils we use. Okay, then pranayama and asana, you know this, right? There was already a question about exercises. So when you do exercises, when you do the asanas, it helps you to improve digestion. There are specific postures that works on improving digestion. All spinal twists, the cobra, so different kind of stuff. Even the Adho Mukha Svanasana could be done, down facing dog, could be done with the focus on your core muscles to improve your muscles and your digestion. Okay, so we could, when we do asana, we could bring our focus where we want it to be. So the pranayama could help you to get more stabilized, like alternate nostril breathing. Helps to balance and calm the mind. Then belly breathing helps to again calm down the anxiety and stress. Then Kapalabhati breathing could be used when you need to enhance your acne. Okay, then asana we discussed. Asana could be done in different ways. It could be more fast if there are need to enhance the digestion. It could be more slow and nourishing and straightening when you want to feed the ojas more. Then the bija mantras. There are simple mantras could be used to enhance the ojas. Ram, it's a sound of fire element in our body, and it helps to improve digestion, and this way it balances the ojas. Then lam, it's a sign of earth element in our bodies, the sound of Muladhara chakra, so it gives the body the stability. If you feel shaken, if you have a lot of anxiety, lam would be good for you. Ram also could be used if there is a low acne along with this one. Ksham is a very good one. So Ksham could be used to calm the mind, to calm down the anxiety. This one is a very good one. It's the sound of air element in our body, and it's connected to the mind itself. The Om is the universal sound. It's just used for general balancing and enhancing the ojas. And the Kleem, if you need more feminine energy, then Kleem could be used. Okay. Then Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is a yoga of devotion. It's not necessary you need to if, for example, you are not a Hindu, it's not necessary that you need to practice the bhakti yoga, right? So depending on your religion, you could practice the bhakti yoga. If you're a Christian, you could practice bhakti yoga. You could do a devotion to yoga, right? So it's not mandatory that you need to do it for some kind of particular god, and only in this way is going to work. No, it's the feeling it gives inside of our body. I was actually talking to my husband today while we were working, and we walked by the church, and I was, this kind of lockdown and everything. The church is closed for sure, yes, right, because of the current situation. But I was telling him, I understand why the church is closed, but there are a lot of people who lose an additional support, and these kind of people, they need this kind of support to make them to stay more balanced, to avoid the anxiety, to calm down and feel supported in this situation, right? So there might be, so you could practice this bhakti yoga not only by going to church, but you could practice it at home, surrendering to your God, right? Pray with the prayers, with the mantras, everything you do, okay? So this is about stress. I hope it does make sense for you. Okay, so sleep is not a waste of time. This is one more which supports the Ojas. The healthy sleep helps you to clean up your body. It's the first one. It helps you to nourish your body properly. It's the second one. It helps you to increase your Ojas. This is a shloka from Ashtanga Hridayam, translated into English. Happiness and unhappiness, nourishment and emaciation, strength and debility, sexual powers and impotence, knowledge and ignorance, life and its absence, all are depend on sleep. There are a lot of different researchers, not just Ayurveda telling it right now, right? I'm happy. So there are researchers you could go and check why the sleep is not a waste of time. We really need to sleep well. We need to go to bed before 10 or at least 11. So our body between 12 and 2 would nourish and would clear itself. Okay, so this is a very important stuff. There is a question. If I'm asleep like a dead one, is it called a better sleep? Yes. If there is no dreams, dreamless sleep, it's a very good sign. It actually helps even to clear the mind and support the mind. So this is the best sleep, when you sleeping and not reacting on the surrounding on your surroundings. Okay, so yeah, make sure you have enough sleep. 8 sleep would be ideal. Okay, and make sure it's better to wake up early, because if we are not getting up early, we start to accumulate the toxins and the ama, and we already talked about this. This is not a good stuff, not a great stuff to support our immunity. Okay, so I'm going to finish with the herbs and a specific food for the Ojas. Almost everything I put in here will increase the Ojas, but for almost everything I put here, you need a strong Agni, strong digestion. Why? Because most of them are heavy. They are nourishing. They are here to support your body and to nourish it. So you need to have a strong digestion for it. Is it good to have a sleep after 3-4 hours after lunch? No, it's not good to have a day sleep at all. Okay, the day sleep need to be avoided. The day sleep is the reason for accumulation of the ama and kapha as well. Excessive kapha, not a healthy kapha, but unhealthy kapha. That's why chest problems, like a lot of cough will come here. There could be the accumulation of fat, there could be heaviness, there could be headaches, so all of this kind of stuff. Only night sleep are good. For some constitution, like for some people, it would be a good idea to have, we call it Vamakukshe. It's a 15-minute rest on the left side after the lunch, but it's just 15 minutes. So don't turn it into 2 hours. Okay, coming back to our herbs. Okay, so we start with the raw local honey. Why it is important to have a raw and local honey? Because it's actually the raw and local honey is a remedy to prevent the pollen allergy. Do you know this? Low local honey is the first treatment to prevent and to heal the pollen allergies. Why? Because from where this local honey comes? It comes from the flowers, from the pollen, right? Little by little, you could, unless you have an allergy to honey, so please avoid. Otherwise, you could start to take it little by little. Maybe in the morning with warm water. Never put honey, never heat honey. Honey should not be heated, because from the amrit, from the nectar, it turns to the visha, to poison. So the honey should not be heated. Okay, the ghee is a very good support. It's the only fat that supports our digestion. It supports also our mind functions. It's improve the memory, and it's improve the ojas as well. So this small guy very helpful in preventing the different kind of conditions, especially mind related. Seeds and nuts having a lot of good vitamins and energy to support the ojas. Then fruits. Most fruits, especially sweet ones, are supportive to the ojas. As example, mango is very nourishing for the ojas. Then banana, especially, you know, the dates and figs would be the best along with the mangoes to nourish the body and ojas. Okay, so these herbs, I have a question here. What is the quality of good honey? So it should be raw and local, and you need to see if it's easy to dissolve in the water. Because if it is, then it would be more of something else, but not a honey. Okay, but I believe here in US there is no problem as we, for example, have in Ukraine, because sometimes people just add something else to honey, some sweeteners. In this way, they could sell it a little bit more expensive. How to be sure they don't? Okay, so this stuff is this is a very good question. So we need to talk to the local farm and ask them how, and we need to pray they will answer honestly, because we would not be able to do this. Okay, so we need to find someone trusting. Maybe your friends knew the farmers where you could purchase the honey. Okay, so then the herbs shatavari, ashwagandha, bala, chavanaprash. So start with these 4. They are amazing. A lot of people now knew what is ashwagandha, and I saw ashwagandha used in a different condition. It is actually very good for the anxiety. It's very good for the joint problems like arthritis. So there are a lot of different stuff ashwagandha could be used, but it is heavy for digestion. And I had a lot of cases where ashwagandha was taken by person without a consultation with a practitioner, and the person start to feel heavy and lethargic, right? So we want to get rid of anxiety, but we don't want to start to feel heavy, lethargic, meaning we start to accumulate ama, right? So please be very careful with Shatavari, Ashwagandha, Bala. These are very good. Bala especially good for the muscles. Shatavari very good for the gut health and women health. Chavanaprasha is a general rasayana, especially for the respiratory channel. Chavanaprasha is more safely to use. My family is using it during the winter and the beginning of the spring, just as prevention, because this guy is very good to boost the immunity, and it could be used even there is a slightly not a problem with Agni. There is maybe not a weak Agni, but not a balanced one. So this could be safe, but these three need to be avoided. But I brought it here just for your understanding that these are here. And if you have a good Agni, you could use this kind of stuff. But if you started to use and feel heavy, then just stop it. Guduchi is a very good one. Guduchi could be used if there is a Amma. Guduchi could be used if there is a weak Agni. Guduchi is a hero of my guru. Because it used in so much conditions. It used the plain guduchi could be used for thyroid problems. The gulutia adequatum could be used for the skin problems, for the hyperacidity, for the it's like a lot of conditions we could use a different kind of guduchi preparation. So this one is a very good one, and this you could take safely even now if you want to protect yourself and your family. There are different kind of guduchi available, so you could just take whatever would be the best for you, for your family, and just take it as a prevention to support your Agni, to support your Ojas, right? And to avoiding increasing of ama or the stuff like this. So guduchi would be the best. Then comes the tulsi. How to find out which guduchi is good for me and my family? Okay, good questions. So I don't like to promote any brands, but there are a few trusting the brands I trust, and even sometimes they broke the trust, as happened today actually. So I'm very careful when buying the stuff for myself and for my yogis, which means my clients. So I usually buy guduchi from the Kerala Ayurveda Academy because I knew what's inside and I can trust them. Okay, so no, it is not a different versions. So guduchi. Guduchi is a climber, and they use a stem for it. They dry the stem, they make a powder of it, and this would be a guduchi. But it need to be, if you buy a powder, then you just need to boil it. It's a little bit bitter, but you know, it's fine. But it's available in capsule forms. So yeah, I prefer the Kerala brand, but you could do your research and maybe you will find something else. I'm not against it at all. Tulsi is a very good one, but please do not use Tulsi if there is a high acidity, if there is a skin rashes, burning sensation, because it's warming. So if you feel overheated or there's a burning sensation, just don't use it. But Tulsi is a very good for the respiratory channels. It helps to clear the respiratory channels and improve the Ojas as well. So this guy are very good. Chavanaprasha we already discussed, but no if there is acidity. It's not hard to get Tulsi here. Okay, so there are Garin Sun, there are Athreya herbs. Yeah, so the Kerala Ayurveda Academy also have it in just a powder. So it's a powder. You make a tea of it. It's tasty. I mean, it's not a best. It's like a tea. Tulsi. Okay, so tulsi is a plant. There are some people are growing tulsi here in California. I'm not sure if they sell in it. yeah, tulsi leaves are very beneficial. They actually have a different potency, and not the same as tulsi, which I'm discussing here. The fresh tulsi leaves, they are actually could be used for all different situations. But this tulsi we could get here, the dry powder tulsi, we could use for the tea. This guy should be avoided if there is too much of heat in the body or high acidity. Okay. Yeah, and tulsi powder is available, not a fresh tulsi. But I would say the dry tulsi would be better than this kind of drops. Okay. But for sure, the fresh tulsi leaves would be the best. Okay. So the flower and tonifying fragrances. So what does it mean? We are surrounded by chemical fragrances, right? Even the perfume we use mostly the artificial flavors and scents in it, right? So I'm not against it, but I could tell you, just simply switching from the current perfume to the essential oil blends, which contains lotus, rose, sandalwood, lavender, what else? Yeah, so different kinds of flowers. This will help you to improve your immunity, just simply using the natural fragrances instead of the artificial. Using this kind of stuff during the laundry or when you do cleaning around your house would be a very good decision. Even I understand this kind of stuff are pretty expensive, right? Lotus, rose, sandalwood, these three are most expensive. But you could use lavender, essential oil. Oh, I'm sorry, I already out of time. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be fast. This is the last slide. So you could just use it all around your house. Then some tonifier fragrances like frankincense also could be used as fragrances if you need some kind of boost. So this more calming and this more boosting. Okay. Saffron, again, amazing, but it's a little bit heavy. So if there is some kind of heaviness already present in your body, just skip it for now. Let your digestion improve, and then you could start to use it. Garlic is awesome. Garlic used as a single medicine uh, in some cases of rheumatoid arthritis. Not in all cases, please just note it, not in all cases. But in some cases, we use it as a single remedies and it works so well. So the garlic are very good unless there's a high acidity. Ginger, again, very good. Fresh ginger could not be used if there is a high acidity. Little bit of dry ginger could be used, right? The same herb, but the different preparation have a different influence on our body. Okay, so thank you for your time and for your patience. I'm sorry I took a few more minutes of your time. I also want to make some announcements. I'm doing Ayurvedic course twice a year, usually, and it's a springtime when I usually started in the beginning of April, and I skipped it because of the current situation. But there are a few people were asking me to start it to do online. So if you might be interested in this course, there are information from the last spring, because in fall I didn't do this course. So there is a explanation what it is. You could go into ayurvedicway.com and you will see the 6 weeks Ayurvedic course. And if you would be interested, just email me what would be the best time for you to do this, because most people now telling it would be like this, so 7 p.m. In a weekday, okay, and it would be two hours, not just 1 hour. Okay, so thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the class, and I hope you don't have any questions because I didn't ask you. Okay, yeah, thank you. If you have any question, just ask. I could ask you. I could answer you pretty quick. Okay, good. There is no questions. Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you once more. Have a good night, everyone. Okay. Okay, bye.